What up? What up? It's Mr. Renew, and we got yourself a little message today. Yesterday we had a message, and it got cut off towards the end. And I was trying to give a message about the Ten of Cups, and what the message, really, what the message was all about was having an understanding upon you as a multitude. And the reason why this is so important is because we're always changing, right? Then we're always growing, right? But then we're surrounded by people who might be growing or who might not, who might be staying the same or not. So, because we are in a hodgepodge, I keep this keeps popping up in my head when I'm talking to people, but little things like understanding the classroom will help you really put this into your mind so you can start to change your point of view. We need a new mental perspective, and this perspective needs to change because we are in change, which means that something must remain the same in order for us to know that a change has occurred. Because of this, a lot of people tend to get mad when they don't have that answer. Think of a child, a little kid who throws a tantrum when they can't figure some shit out. Think of an animal that wants to do something like open the door when they can't and they get mad. Think of a parent who just can't get their kid to act right even though they're not talking right. These are the things that I'm talking about in the case of change, but viewing change as a composite figure of yourself. So, the idea of a classroom helps us understand that we have a grade or a number. This number can be associated with a grade. The fourth grade classrooms are in classroom or classes 12 to 14. That's the fourth grade wing, we can say now. Notice, I'm not changing the physical location, but I'm changing the words, which is changing your mind. Instead of just saying a classroom, any classroom you can think about, I said a fourth grade classroom. So that's adjusting from like college or high school or something, right? It just, there's an adjustment or a detail. And then I'll say, oh, numbers 12 to 14, and maybe you had a specific class that was classroom 12 or 14 or 13, right? Or something similar. I got a number now, so that detail is going to automatically force a brand new image, so now your mental image got to adjust again. So as we're going through these frequencies and we're changing this, we have to realize that there is a frequency that we can all settle down upon. But it takes fine tuning with these words, like I just demonstrated, so for us to get onto a single classroom. And are we there yet? We are not. We are not there yet. We have not come to a conclusion that was cohesive for all of us. But that's the key. So, how do I do this? Well, the understanding that we have in the current educational system is I'm going to group you by ability. And so, in general, I can have a 10, an 11, and a 12-year-old be in a similar grading area. Might call this middle school, might call this junior high, might call this elementary. Depends on the school. But what is consistent is the fact that all grades have a core age. And so now I got a centerpiece that doesn't really change, and then you can have things a little bit below it and things a little bit above it. But what this shows us is what we call a range. And this is the E that I was talking about in the previous reading. This is the backbone being built upon a triglyceride. This glycerol, that's it's talking to you, it's speaking to you, it's saying there's three of these glycerols here for backbone. So because those things are built together as one thing, We have to see them operate as independents. Your toes can move independently from your fingers while my mouth is yapping and I'm making a sound called talking. So, because I can multitask and put this orchestra of differences together into a symphony of harmonization in this present moment, I can now start to view that as a mindset of me altering between spaces in myself and spaces around myself. I have to go through spaces outside of me, which means spaces go inside of me, and we call this breathing. But when we're breathing in these different spaces, it's helping us attune to different frequencies. So, this is the energy that we bringing in today. That was unexpected. Here's a little bit of music to take the pressure off of you, give you some chance to ponder, and we'll get a overall card to help explain this a bit further for you. Saw the Ace of Swords. We got noisy beats, noisy beats, noisy beats, noisy beats. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Feeling good like I knew I would. Feeling good like I knew I should. Making sure that my feelings just one of the 10, one of the many. But nope, I got the one, so I'm feeling like it's plenty. But nope, I got 9 more, feeling kinda greedy. But nope, it's just environmentals up on the scenery. So I'ma keep it going on and on with this me. Showing you I'm changing through any scenery. But I'm who? Mr. Renew. I'm just as me, making sure that I do what I do on this being true as Mr. Renew. And now I'm speaking to these you so you understand a new mental space on this move. So, I'm hearing that you're going to have to understand how to change spaces. Change spaces, changing spaces, changing places. Let's see what spaces and places. See, I'm telling you, changing and movement is the energy. And so you got to understand it's about to be springtime. So shit has already been happening. When I be teaching this, this is us moving from the pre-contemplation stage. That's us living a whole life upon everything that we do, but it just happens as a virtual image within ourselves. And so when we are projecting these simulations, these thoughts actually come out, and the ones that we are pre-contemplating comes out into a complementary aspect of contemplating externally. It just shifts from outside to inside, and so you start to go through similar problems when you were thinking about it, but you can't recognize all the processes because they're moving so fast. So a lot of people don't have that cognitive ability to capture these frequencies here, but notice you can see my hand and you can hear the rhythm and you can see that I'm going to continue to give the example. I'm just showing you how you can utilize different spaces to recognize a place you can't exactly pinpoint. Now, the reason why I say that is normally that's the cup inside of us that we're providing to the world, but in the 10 of cups, you got to see yourself as swimming within one giant ace of cups, because that is what we call your family branch. So that whole branch would be the cup, but the idea is we have other things on that branch, like the idea of that branch having branches that branch off. Notice branch, 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 Henson, 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 last names, this is family. Extended family is what we can say, but it's still my branch. This is the idea of having that Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups for you is a micro cup that God hands you as an understanding on how to fill yourself up. But then the Ace of Cups for God is the heavens that we all seek to swim within. That is the idea of this cup being as above and so below. It functions the same way. We're just allowing you to play the role as the human on this plane. So, what does this change look like? Balance. This change looks like balance between the spirit and the non-spirit. But the spirit and the non-spirit, it comes through an understanding of you and an understanding of the moon. A lot of people don't understand this, but everything is happening twice, which makes it happen a third time. But when you have a third time, you understand no time, which is the fourth. But that's no time is called a space. And that is where people get really fucked up. Notice, in the High Priestess card, you have two pillars. One pillar is on the east side, one pillar is on the west side. That is two different spaces already. What is the bridge? How do I know I have a direction of east and west? How do I know I have a left and right? Oh, it's the centerpiece, the center core. And who sits at the center? Currently you. So you are the balance point. But here is what people don't see. Let me tell you something now. From the center, you have a center west, but then you have a center west. I used to teach this shit like this in all the grades in school because, again, it helps kids see perspective, and it's really good for seeing scales and exponents and all kind of shit. It helps you see the geometry. And then you can put the arithmetic and the algebra in there, but you can see it. And the kids, that's what geometry is all about. Is what do you see? And that's why geo, which is the study of measurements, comes in the form of a circle, because your eyeball is in a circle. But the globe or the earth is in a circle. So again, it's looking at circular motions or the feminine aspects, whereas algebra is more linear. Same thing with calculus. It's when you're doing things for over time or going from left to right versus when you're being left, middle, or right. People disregard the feminine energy all the time. We see it in society and people claim it, but then they claim you don't see the masculine energy too. So both sides are missing. Why? Because both sides can't see the third. Most people have never went to trigonometry. Instead of seeing geometry, circles, we're looking at the children now. The trigonometry is the combination of the man and the woman into a polygon, is what we say. This trinity or polygon or triangulation or a three or triangle, trigonometry is helping us see how do we relate three things at once. The way you do that is by implying a fourth. You have to have a center. I'm gonna draw a picture. Can I show you? Hell the fuck yeah. I'm gonna draw a picture. So again, we're trying to see how this right here is us understanding change. But you should have already realized change is happening because I have now brought out a pen and paper. This tarot card reading has changed. So let me show you. This is the triangle. You know, that's what we know. This is the B. This could be the J. This will be the cross in between, or the U, or the high priestess, right? As this comes in, you got to understand that there's this here. And this centerpiece, what your core aspect is, it changes everything, because now these things can rotate. So by us just focusing on a new part, instead of being this one, instead of trying to be this one, instead of thinking that I'm cool because I'm that one, you gotta say, I'm all of this shit. And look, I have a new cup. I have a new space. I have a new measurement. Guess what? I took a triangle and I made a geo, a circle. But guess what? I can put a circle around the triangle. So now it's starting to start. Now we can see why there are two different things happening at once. I can see that there's a circle. I can see that there's another circle. But most people can't see the triangle that connects these circles. This right here is the veil. That right there is the veil. This is the spirit. This is the spirit of self. What do you think the spirit of self is? The soul. So these two things go hand in hand. Not many people can see it, but then we categorize people who can see this stuff as high priestesses, and they can see the changing or read the changing energies from this to that. As it's going from here to here, this person is supposed to be able to unveil, right, the energies. But mathematically, English class, school, it says it this way. That shit says 5, let's do 10 is equal to 2 some kind of way. Some kind of way we know 10 is equal to 2. This idea of a 10 has a veil between it that makes it the same as this over here. But guess what? Not everybody knows, because not everybody knows what the equals is. So anybody know how this 10 could be equal to 2? Anybody know? Anybody know? You gotta change some spaces. So again, instead of just going left to right now, instead of just being this point and this point together, I can change. I can probably go to a different direction. I can go to a new space. I don't have to go this way. I can go this way. And now we're taking different angles, or we're being introduced to new angels. But the idea of us is being able to see from a new space, which allows us to make a change and say, oh, if I put a 5 down here, if I put a 5 down there, right? And then if I said, oh, I'm going to divide that, and now we know that this is true. But I had to know the secret of how to connect these two. I had to know the secret how to connect this space and this space. And it's not just being able to do it, ladies. It's not. You can't just do this and be like, I'm doing it. It's because you're always doing it, but there's different do's. And you can't tap into all of them if you don't know what it do. You won't know what it's doing on this side. You might can feel all the negative energies and know how to speak it out into the world and say, it's this, it's that, it's all of these things. But if you can't understand these things over here, you won't be able to feel them over here. So everything becomes karmic, let's say. And now you got a karmic tarot channel. Or everything becomes love, or everything becomes about views, or whatever. There are a lot of really good readers out there, but I've known and learned that most of the best don't get pushed by the algorithm. They don't. They don't. It's because Spirit doesn't adhere to the channels of how you want it to come out. So some of these readers who are really good, who don't want to do karmic readings, you got to understand, you got to figure out a better way to express that energy, because it's not karmic. Again, I'm using this card in tarot reading to teach you some fucking math shit. Your teacher tried to teach you this shit, but they forgot this part. Here I am as a live example showing you how I can be more than just the bridge between the two. I'm teaching you this, I'm teaching you that, but I'm showing you in this way and I'm showing you this way. But these two things look similar, and so you can see the symbology now. This symbology, or these symbols that are representing Mindsets are allowing you to change. So, let's make a change. All right. Okay. What do we got? What do we have? We got a Knight of Cups bringing it to the world. Oh, actually, so this is being brought to the world, but it's okay. Feedback loop is what the best example that I got for you right now. So stay with me because this is going to be a multi-leveled feedback loop. So it's laps, suicides, ladders. If you're an athlete, down and back again, gashers. I don't know how else to say it, but this is like having a friend and you know they can dance and they're shy though, and so you throw their ass in the middle after trying to get them to do it on their own. You just throw their ass and then they just start busting it. That's this energy, right? This is thank you, you're far too kind. I just heard that my ancestors like, yeah, like you, nigga. Like, so what this is like, I don't often get on here and talk the things that I speak, mainly because I used to feel like nobody is going to listen. But I listen to a certain few people who I believe is on this tier that I'm referring to. And it's a lot of people who got it, but they should have way more because people value what is being brought. But it's because it's not, it's uncommon, it's rare, it's not something that everybody wants, but it's something everybody needs. And because of that, it gets mistaken and easily shunned away and disregarded. This is like Teal Swan. A lot of people like her, but she's straightforward, and I love it because she doesn't sugarcoat. She reads the energy as is. She doesn't take on this or that. She has the cross, so she can spin the directions, and so she can start to include different frequencies that was normally disregarded. So instead of looking at the circle or the square, I'm now looking at the triangles inside the square. I can see more. I can look at the semicircles now, and that's part square and that's part circle. So like, it allows us to see more. And then we start introducing new things called an X or multiplication, multiplying things. And now we get to grow things in the same way that the frequency is bringing. So now this is what we call a pattern. This is called some rhythm. This is called the beat. This is called me speaking on the speak. Bringing you all of these things just because I believe that you can make a change if you know that you're already doing it. And so the idea is, can you start to look at the tools that you already have within you that create change for you? And it's not good or bad yet, even though it just does it on its own. And sometimes we get good things and bad things. It's not about that. It's about seeing the control you possess over the abilities of the tools you carry. We all don't carry the same things, but we all carry some of the same shit. Excuse me. This right here is all the same shit. We all got a soul. We're living beings, but we don't all have a spirit. But some people will say that's backwards. No, it's only backwards when I'm going from the center to center west or center east. Once I'm start talking about the west side and the east side, that shit means nothing to me no more. I can only go from the west to the center west. That's my whole understanding. I can only go from the east to the center east. That's my whole understanding. I don't know more than that. But some of us do. And if you are blessed to be in this energy here, that's in between the center, the square, this is the energy that I'm trying to bring to you as us being thrust out from the world as something that's good. Yes, this crowd of people is excellent, but my friend here is more excellent than all of us as the centerpiece. But when the crowd creates a centerpiece, my friend is not going to go there. He can't go from the east all the way to the west. He can't do that. He doesn't know how to do both. He can do it a little bit, and that's him dancing with his homies. But he can't be here to jump here to be on the other side, willingly jumping in the circle. So, as a person who knows how to encourage my friend the right way, I ain't gonna throw him in there if I know he feeling bad and don't want to dance, and this might be a bad time. We got some rough things going on in his life. Nah, I'm gonna throw him in there when I know he want to do it, but he just being scared. Go ahead, nigga, get her number. Go talk to her, bro. Go jump in there. What you doing, bro? Throw your ass in there. Now he over here. He can either do this, run back to nothing, because that's what this space is. It's all neutral, zero. This is the 0 point. Or he can jump into the west side. So I'm a east side nigga on the west side now. What's gonna happen over here? Go, hey, oh. So, I say all of that. Again, I said it was going to be layers, so you had to rock with me. So, now you got that scenario, and you got that nice little story. Let's see how we'll pertain to these cards. So, what that's telling us is, this is your friend jumping in there, knowing they can bring some loving love, some loving care, some loving hope, some real shit, man, because they not from around these parts. And so, yeah, man, we like your moves. Look at this guy go. I've never seen no shit like that. Yeah, this is some east side shit. Now you got people on the west side doing east side moves, and now they're closer to the center. That is this energy here. It's like, even though I don't always want to get on the mic and talk, but I would scroll and talk shit in the comments. It's just me presenting it differently because a part of me just wants to be in that energy of chaos, honestly. A lot of people see it as it's the Aries energy inside of me, but it's the Mars energy more so than the Aries itself. Mars, because it's being expressed in a way of communication, and so that's Gemini. But because it's Mars and I'm a Scorpio, I don't want to normally talk. I'm the darker side to the Mars energy. The Aries will be the light side, and so for me, I'm going to create the strategy. But because I'm a strategist, when it comes out online, and because, again, of how it's presented as the Mars energy, the communication is always super assertive and aggressive, just like an Aries would. But it's strategic, so people don't normally see that. They just think I'm emotional, but in reality, I got the layers that they don't understand, like I'm trying to convey to you. That is a gift to me. But because I be doing it in a certain way, I can view that part of me as negative. But when I do it through cards or on video for something else, another means, it's not taken the same way. That is why we need to change. That's the idea of us being able to see both sides. But we got to recognize the both sides of ourselves. Again, the left shoulder and the right shoulder of this high priestess. So then you can get to a closer center, and now you at the Christ consciousness. 1, 2, 3, 4, Christ in the center. That's what that is. And again, Easter just passed, so you should be able to see this rise out of you. But that's the thing. The rise happens when you rotate around what is happening. That's the 3 days, or the 3 circles, or the 3 points that will allow for rotation. The trigonometry that makes the geometry. This is what school is set up as. School is it's the people. School is everything it needs to be. It's all the knowledge that we've always had. People talking about teaching and learning, that's not the same as school. School is a library. It's just a house for shit. But the education that you're learning, it is already embedded in the shit that you're learning. The problem is the teachers, and the problem is the parents. We don't want all the information. We want this and that because it helps with that and this. That's all. But a person over here and a person over here can't see all things. But the person in the center, the high priestess, they can. And because of this, They're always the middle child holding everything through. I always said this, I even said it in the video before this, I like kids' reactions to things because they're innocent, and when you speak to them a certain way, you can manipulate them. And the reason why that's good is, as a teacher, I want to manipulate the curriculum in a way to where it's engaging and they care about that shit. Instead of just saying, turn to page 2, number 1, this is this is that, this is how you do it, take notes, do it over and over and over and over, you got to do this, make sure you pay attention. A lot of people can't do that, especially when they don't know that it's not okay. So, what do? We have to figure out a way to adjust and change, but it takes a special kind of person to do that. Just like it took a special person, aka Jesus, to come in and make a change. But that's the thing, people still don't change. It's always going to be some resistance. So let's see what they're talking about. Well, the Knight of Cups here is going to be presented to the world from the world. This is something made from the world. And this is something that somebody resists, but this is something that's been given to this person numerous times. If I had to use myself, I remember back in like 2007, 2008 or 2009, something like that. And I had just got introduced to Facebook. 2007 though, I was on MySpace and shit. But 2009, I saw one of my friends who was from a different state, but he was playing football at this school with me. And guess what? He had a Facebook, and I looked at Facebook, and I had not a fucking clue and understanding about what it was. Resisted, but then eventually got one, because everybody else had one, and Messenger and all kind of shit. But I would occasionally make videos, and a lot of people review that shit. But I didn't realize or recognize that I was just interested in the things I was interested in, but I was talking, and that was the part that I was missing. And so when I'm seeing how people are saying to me, you're good at talking, you should talk, they like the way I sound, they love the way I sound on the phone, all of these things, and I'm just sitting here like, what is my life purpose? And I occasionally make videos about the shit that I learned, and then guess what? I'm just ignoring this here, which is why the world has been showing me, and which is why the world is going to throw me out there for its own self, but it's going to be for me too, which is going to be for the betterment of the world. But why? Well, it's because this energy is here, and this is what is causing me not to see. And that is, it's hard because this is the idea of, like, I think magic. Why magic is, it works on people and for not. If you look at movies, normally these things happen through immense pain. And so most people curse you when you hurt their feelings. They just show it off as anger, but they be mad. They be mad. They just got their feelings hurt. They feel like this. Hurt feelings. But because the hurt feelings might not be just the one poke, that one poke might be the number 10. Or anything might feel like this because they're dead. The idea is this resistance comes from the fact that we don't know how to accept the dark past or the east side. Why? How come I can't accept the east? It's because I'm the west and we don't do that shit around here. I don't see it. So again, over here, most people who are like out there mad doing black magic and shit, it's because they hurt or somebody in their family was hurt, but it's just built upon hurt and pain and emotionals. But these emotions turned into logics. There was real reasons for them, but no emotional sense. So no emotional fulfillment can come in because I'm looking at the 3 logics or the 3 points or the trigonometry behind my whole world or the whole me, and I'm not understanding how did I get this. So I don't accept this, but the key is it's already been cultivated in you. Look at this. Wow. I knew the Empress was here, and I started to think that was there, but the fact that this both came out like this, I'm trying to tell you something here, and I'm trying to always tell the spiritualist, man, I'm not talking to a person who don't know what nothing is and need to just go learn and watch video. No, I'm talking to people like, I don't want to just be name dropping, bro, because I'll forget other people, but I have to, like, Son of God, bro, just popped up right now, and these are people who I watch and I believe that they are at the right level for the higher level. It's because they can communicate multiple sides. And the reason why that's important is because there are smaller spaces of interaction, again, the shoulders of the high priestess, that people, the edge, you know, but it's only the edge for this west-west or this east-east. That's what the edge is. So people like Son of God or, Jadina just popped up right now. We got Clarity with Jay, Astro Wolf. These are great people, man. Goddess Energy. These are people who I feel like are tapped in at a higher level. Some of them, again, they operate in certain spaces that are more surface, like pop culturally, you can kind of say, versus like the deep sciences. But it's still society, right? But when they're talking about both, they understand the integration of all, so they can present it that way. And that reaches more people deeply, even if they have a deep reach or shallow reach. It doesn't matter. What matters is you get loyal people. And I know I'm not always around, but I got 71 subscribers. And I know at least 2 of y'all have watched more than one video. And I hope some more than that. But you will quickly learn that the more you hang out with me, the more changes that you can identify within me, the differences that you can see. It's always something, but then there's always the same. And it's so unique, but it's this. And I don't think it's that unique, but that's the thing. When I don't think it's that unique, it's because that is this part talking out of me. And it's this part not being able to receive how beautifully unique it actually is, because it's not seen in this world. But it is. I see it in the world, but the world doesn't see it because the world isn't it. But that doesn't mean the world doesn't have it. So now here I am presenting it to you. But again, it is understanding that this is what I'm talking about. If I had to use this as my basic example, my east-east is called the Emperor, my west-west is called the Empress. It's very easy and clear to see right now, right? It's very easy. So here's one side, but in this one card, I got 2 other sides. That is what I'm trying to convey to you. This is Christ consciousness right here. That's why Christ is the center, right? This high priestess, she's in the center. But even the cross is in the center. It's because these 2 pillars can be up here too. It can be up here. Or they can be at a high frequency or a lower frequency. But the idea is the frequency is matched on both sides. But what is not matched on both sides is the understanding that this emperor has a wall. This empress has a wall. So you got to put something in the center that can translate it across for you. This is why, you're supposed to put God in your marriage first. God at the centerpiece of your marriage. It's because sometimes you just can't get to the other side. I say that because with your own self, sometimes you can't get to the other side, but I can see both. There's just no bridge. So, how do I accept the fact that I'm wishing for this? Here's the 3, here's the 4, there's the 2. But over here, if we split this in half, we got a 4, and then we'll have a 5. What does that mean? It's unstable changes. So this is why the man or the masculine leader or energy is always the leader within you. So sometimes when you're 5 years old, you don't want to listen to your 2-year-old brother. You don't. So, or your 4-year-old brother. Sorry. When you're 7, you don't want to listen to the 6-year-old. But sometimes when you're 9, you want to listen to the 10-year-old. But the 10-year-old don't want to talk to you. Sometimes the 37-year-old want to talk and the 38-year-old don't. There's always going to be some kind of separation or difference just because we're not the same. But we are the same because you're a person, I'm a person, so we got people in us. You're a person, I'm a person, so we were made from others. You're a person, I'm a person, we can come together and be people. You're a soul, I'm a soul, we can have a spirit. You're a spirit, I'm a spirit, we can make a soul. You just gotta realize that what level of this road that we're planted upon. And the level is at high levels down here, high levels up here, which means there's going to be high levels in the middle, and now you have your triglycerol. You have your 3, your trigonometry or your pyramidal scene. But because you have listened to this whole entire reading, because you have this message, you know that you got to put that space in between. You got to sit in that faith in between. You got to know that you can have this pain and you can have these great things too, and they can be 4 cups all in one, but I can know that the universe will always give me a 5th to make moves with. I'm going to always have something older than me. There's always going to be that separation between the 3 and the 4, a 2 and a 1. But there is always a space in between that sums them up as a total. Numbers, people, soul, family, spiritual advisor. So let's get our final message. My bad. It's a final message. Got a bunch. So when a bunch comes out like this, we're looking for a theme. Okay, so the theme here is to walk away from to give yourself a mental reason to separate from the old emotions so you can take actions on the new monies that's coming in. So opportunities is happening. Opportunities are presenting themselves, but for some reason you're confused, but then you're walking away from the confusion. But really, it's taking an understanding of where you are and just taking a leap, just taking the action, just making a change, and you're going to realize that it's just actually a small, slow movement. And how is this explained? Well, it's by this. You, right now, whatever you got going on, you think that you're going from here all the way to here. But remember, after this lesson today, you have now learned that you can't do that. You got to check in. So you can't go from here to here. You got to go from here. Hold up, nigga. Pay the fee. Boop. Approved. Boop. Whew. Now you can get going. This action that you need to take, you're going to take it with the right mindset now because you got the knowledge. Good job. Good job. You listened. You were here for this shit. You did it. But now, you got to understand that big ass leap is going to be a small baby step. It's just a small baby step. It's actually not that big. It don't even feel like you're moving. It just feels that way. Oh, guess what? You're walking away from the feelings of your own self-delusion. You're taking a break from being confused on feelings by focusing on what you know. Like for me, I know I got shit I can always do. I'm running a business, right? It's a solo business. So I've been doing so many things by myself for so long, right? Like Of course, I'm going to have emotions about how I've done things in the past and what I should do. And just like if I had a team, I got those same problems with myself. But as of late, I just walk away because I got a plan. I got a plan, and even though I'm fixing the strategy, I got a plan. So whenever I don't want to do something, I'm learning to walk away because I don't have to do none of that shit. I can always just do something completely different. So I don't have to sit in the emotions of being confused on what I should do and what I shouldn't do because I know now that anything that I do is going to be helpful. But I do want to do it with a strategy. But most people say that the best strategy for success is consistency. So I have to put my own stamp of approval upon my time frames. Every day is not the right time for everything. That's why we taught kids in first and second grade about skip counting. You gotta start preparing yourself for new ways for presentation, even though it's still linear. It's just adding by 2, or adding by 4, or adding by 6, or adding by 8, or add by even numbers. We gotta start to see that we can move away from what was confusing to what is easy now. But we gotta realize that the easy button comes from a thought. So the thought that you're taking from this lesson is that you can never go from one side to the other. You can never go from one side to the other. You gotta go from one side to the center, one side to the center, and then from the center to the other side. That's a four-step process, but it's actually five obstacles. One, two, three, four, five. Emperor, black pillar, priestess, white pillar, empress. One, two, three, four, five. Five different, literally, obstacles to go through. But there's only four processes. From the emperor, which is the west-west to the center-west. From the east-east to the center-east with the empress. But the fifth process says I can harness the both. Like kids, children, right? I got a little bit of dad, I got a little bit of my mom. I see all of that shit. Sometimes I do the negative things, sometimes I do the positive things, but I'm fruitful in between as my damn self. That's the knowledge that you're bringing now, and the mindset says that I'm okay. I can be mad, I can be sad. I can feel this way, I can feel that way. And I always have fantasies of lovers in my mind, man. That's that Libra side of me that be coming in. But I have Venus in my Libra at 0 degrees, so it's like 0 point energy altogether for the love I be wanting to give to people. But then, because I understand this here, temporary, it holds me back from fully loving people, especially the people that I want. And so, that is me needing to like take action. So I do things like this to love these people, um, whether it's from the past or a desire for a future. I'm gonna love them, these ladies, you know, like I'm their man right now. And that shows me that it's the same energy that I used to produce in the classroom when I loved the children like they were my own. So, loving people's wives like they're my own wives, loving people's mothers like they're my own mother, loving people's grandmas like they're my own grandma, loving people's dads like they're my own dad, that helps me just love. And in the case of knowing in the past, like I had a soul connection, or spiritual connection, one of the two, doesn't matter which, but knowing that I've had that connection and that resonance, it shows me that we're always moving slowly no matter how fast we're moving. We're always moving through time because time is packaged as spaces. And the only way to get through one space to another is a triangulation into a new. This is what we call a sine wave, by the way. But this wave, or this sine wave, it moves across a new plane. And so when you leave, you can actually come back around. And that is the idea of having a round circle, or these two different forms of the moon inside this 8 card. Even if you leave, you return. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because you never left. It's just phases. And so, because we start to understand the phases of self, just like I understood the phases of my own love, that's one of the main reasons why I hold back, because I know I'm still cooking up new frequencies of love within me. Even though it's a lot of love I want to give to the world, I want to give it to a pinpointed person, but that's just because my love space is pinpointed. But that's the key. If I can be this, realizing that it's not me trying to pinpoint the space, it's me realizing I'm the space been pointed, chosen, and picked out by the universe, even though I'm feeling like this from these emotions. And so I take the new mindset, and then I get thrust into the world, and the world shows me that you're the love that we were missing. If I had to put this person inside of here, that's what I'm talking about. And this is the Christ consciousness, but that's because you got the 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like over here. You got the 1, 2, 3, 4. So the center space, the world card of the high priestess, this center space is this girl in the middle. The high priestess is the center of the world. But again, this is the card that we're seeing as the world, giving the world love. But I'm showing you why. And even though, again, I got these kind of emotions from dealing with my own parents, these aren't all the emotions, but this is the main one. Why? Because all the previous emotions, whether there was for love or for anger or for hate, all of those things from the past, they got pushed into me. And they're just all the same now because of the betrayal. What was the betrayal? The thoughts about it, the mindset upon it, the things that I perceived about the cups that I have received. And so, because of those cups being received in me, and then the swords being received in me, it's going to easily create a scenario of confusion. Again, you got mixed emotions, is what we would say, but it's really thoughts, which is the cloud part that everyone tends to disregard. But again, this is symbology, so every single thing written means something specifically. Just like if I drew a comic book, the face and the eyebrows and the angles and all the geometries behind there, it's specific for a fucking reason. Why? Because I want to express anger, or I want the character to express emotion through their eyes, but not with their mouth. Like, there are details that we put into these emotions of desire. But because I was this with my family and other places, those emotions were just all painful. So my choice was to walk away, but the idea of walking away is just you walking in a circle. Okay. But then I go into a circle again, and it looks all different, but I end up being at the same spot. That is the phases of the moon. I look like I'm nothing, but then I look like I'm full. But in reality, I'm just a crescent waxing and waning. That's really what's happening. But what we're seeing is over time, or over a cycle or a period. Come on, ladies, a menstruation, you have a mental restoration. Again, it's because you're going through an emotional purging. But the emotions are actually trying to purge the thoughts that are connected to those emotions. Why? Because for the simple fact that you have both. You, ladies, women, you're naturally more feminine, is what we say, right? Look, the high priestess is a natural bridge between, or space. Empress, that's the next form up of a space. The world card is a feminine energy inside the world, a new space, space on space. Wheels within wheels is what this actually is. This is the trigonometry that I was explaining earlier, on how you can put a circle on the inside, trigonometry points on the outside, triangulations, and then you can put another circle on the outside. That is these 4 fixed points. That is the squaring of a circle, but is through trigonometries or triangles. Circle in the square, man. Square in the circle. This is the exponential rate of life exchanging across Christ conscious space. 4-part cross. This. But it happens in the world at a micro and a macro level. So, just like me, I gotta mature my own love on its time frame. So I gotta give more love freely to where I like stabilize that frequency of love outpour, and then it attracts the person who can like no can withstand that outpour, because it's going to intensify thereafter. And if it's not stabilized in a proper manner, then it's going to be chaotic and you're going to have distortions. And now I'm thinking the Bermuda Triangle. It's like having a computer that is faulty. It works, but it's not working efficiently or properly. And so that's the same thing with this energy output. And, all my life I feel like I came in on a mission to have a partner, which is why I think like so many of the, sexual issues growing up as a kid occurred, because, again, there was more of a love energy coming out of me, but that is something people take advantage of. And so, because it was taken advantage of to create a world around me, this is why the world around me was always declined. But the idea is God gave a new mind to me, and they're showing me that I'm not the world, I am in it. But because I'm outside the world while being within the world, that shows me that I can now be that 0 point. Oh my God. All right, man. Damn, that was a lot of channeled energy. Shit. All right, people. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do a love message. I'm gonna switch the cards up because I'm feeling like some cards have been lonely. Got some cards in the back, so I'm gonna give a love reading. I'm in a lovey mood anyway, thinking about love and shit. But thank you for being here. That's a deep message, and I hope you appreciate me, my hiatus. I'm trying to make it weekly, but I'm almost down to a schedule. It's a science, like I said. But yeah, I hope you keep rocking with me. My goal is, once I hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to open up private readings and consultations, just because I think it all should be ready. And I'm more of a self-learner, so I really think that giving you these little tarot sparks will be enough to encourage you to make the changes that you really need. But then you'll have resources available to you to continue helping yourself. So you don't got to keep asking the teacher for help. That sometimes that should get embarrassing, right? You don't want to raise your hand. Oh man, I just asked a question. I don't want to seem like I'm dumb or something. Nah, I'm more than willing to help you, but I already get that people feel that way. So there you go. You got books and courses and things that you can be independent upon. Here's an extra sheet for your reference. That's what I want to be for you, and that's what I want to be for my beautiful soul, my soul lover, man, my beautiful wife. Damn, man, I love you. So I love y'all just as much as the same, just as much as I love her. She's always on my brain, and I want to let you know that you guys are always on my brain too. And I just hope that you can all do these things for you, because that's what I do, and that's what I do for her, and that's what I hope she does for me. But it's just a we. Peace.